Let me tell you something unusual about silence in the digital age. We live in a world where nearly everything is shared. Birthdays, coffee cups, sunsets, tears, laughter, even pain carefully curated with filters. Yet some people remain completely invisible. They scroll quietly, observe with depth, and rarely, if ever, post. Perhaps you know someone like that. Perhaps you are someone like that yourself. And there's always a question lingering in people's minds. Why? Why would someone choose to stay unseen when the whole world seems to be shouting for attention? It's easy to assume that those who don't post are simply shy or introverted. But that's only the surface. Beneath, there's an entire psychology at play. One that speaks volumes about human nature, self-perception, and the quiet rebellion against a culture obsessed with visibility. For some, silence is not emptiness, it is control. It is the ability to choose what the world is allowed to see, or not see, because whether we admit it or not, social media has quietly reshaped how we define ourselves. It rewards display, it praises noise, and yet, those who linger in the shadows often see everything most clearly. They observe without interruption. They think before reacting. They analyse before judging. Psychologists have discovered something fascinating. People who refrain from posting frequently score higher on traits such as self-restraint, introspection, and emotional independence. They are less influenced by social comparison and external validation. In other words, they are not trying to prove who they are. They are trying to understand who they are. And in a world drowning in performances, that's rare. Let's be honest. Most of what we post is not simply communication, it's identity crafting. Every caption, every photo, every status update whispers, "This is who I am. Do you approve?" But when you stop posting, something shifts. You begin to detach your sense of worth from digital applause. You stop thinking in captions. You start experiencing moments for yourself instead of for a lens. That fundamentally is the psychology of people who do not post. They crave authenticity in a space where everything feels staged. They are not anti-technology. They are not anti-social. They simply refuse to reduce life into highlights. Because when you see how easily perception can be manipulated, you begin to value what cannot be posted. Silence, depth, imperfection, truth. For some, the choice to not post comes after a form of emotional burnout. Perhaps they once shared everything, until one day it stopped feeling real. Each time they posted something beautiful, they sense an invisible pressure to keep performing. They weren't living anymore, they were acting. So they disappeared quietly. No announcements, no explanations, just a gradual vanishing from the feed. But here's what many misunderstand. Not posting doesn't mean not feeling. It doesn't mean they don't care. Often it means they care too much. About presence, about meaning, about protecting what is sacred. There's a concept in psychology called psychological ownership. It is the deep feeling that something belongs to you. A thought, a memory, an experience. And when you post it, that ownership shifts. The moment becomes shared, exposed to judgment, misinterpretation, and ridicule. People who choose not to post are guarding their ownership of life itself. They keep moments untouchable, private, sacred. And maybe that's not sadness. Maybe it's a quiet kind of freedom. Because consider this. When was the last time you did something meaningful without feeling the urge to share it? When did you last laugh, cry, or achieve without thinking of posting it online? That reflex to display is not natural, it is conditioned. A decade of likes, shares, and dopamine loops train the brain to equate validation with value. Stepping outside that loop feels like rebellion, but it is also healing. They rediscover the simplicity of doing things for themselves, cooking without photographing it, travelling without tagging, feeling without explaining. In that space, something awakens, a self-awareness that doesn't require an audience. Yet not everyone who doesn't post is free from tension. Some are driven by fear of judgment, rejection, or misunderstanding. Social media has amplified what psychologists call self-presentational pressure. It is the constant awareness of being observed, even when you are not. For many, it's exhausting. They worry their words may be misread, or worse, ignored. So they retreat, not from connection, but because visibility has too high a cost. They wish to be truly seen, not superficially. Ironically, sometimes the quietest people online have the loudest thoughts in their minds. They are overflowing, not absent. They choose stillness over spectacle. There is a philosophical depth to this silence. In a world that constantly says, "Look at me," invisibility becomes a form of self-definition. It says, "I exist beyond your perception." They scroll through others' lives, nod, smile, sometimes ache, but rarely project, because they understand something most do not. Not everything experienced is meant to be witnessed. Growth, grief, transformation often unfold quietly, unseen, unposted. After living through enough private transformations, they understand that being unseen is not insignificance. It is the crucible where identity is formed, not performed. This is the paradox. Social media promises connection, yet leaves people lonelier. When you stop posting, you cease chasing digital intimacy and begin noticing real relationships. You see who checks in without updates, who remembers without reminders. Raw, broadcasted connections feel heavier, warmer, infinitely more real. Those who don't post live in that space. They cultivate relationships that require no proof. They find comfort in unshared moments, allowing life to unfold without turning it into content. Part of this is identity security, knowing yourself even when unseen. When comfortable in your own company, you don't need validation, not arrogance, peace. Ironically, these same people often hold the most interesting stories, but reserve them for moments across a table, not a screen. Real connection with them isn't measured in comments or likes. It is in shared silence, in eye contact, in laughter that needs no witness. These are people who carry entire worlds within, process deeply, observe constantly, understand quietly. They don't need applause, they just live. And perhaps in a world desperate for attention, their silence is not a flaw, it's a mirror. A reminder, not everything meaningful must be shared. Sometimes the most human act is keeping something entirely to yourself. The longer someone stays off social media, the more they perceive the world differently. Colours become richer, time slower, conversations fuller. Stepping away from the noise restores reality. By stopping performance, they experience life. Walking through existence without needing proof of every step is quietly beautiful. Angles, lighting, captions, all irrelevant. Presence itself becomes the reward. The psychology behind this is profound. Social validation drives dopamine release, the same chemical tied to reward and addiction. Over time, this conditions craving. We think in shareable experiences rather than real ones. Imagine resisting that loop, deliberately disconnecting from the dopamine cycle. That is not disinterest, it is discipline. It requires self-awareness to resist a system designed to keep us hooked. People who abstain from posting often have a strong internal locus of control, a psychological concept meaning their happiness and self-worth come from within, not external approval. They don't need the digital echo of "you're enough" to believe it. Research shows that extended breaks from posting increase emotional stability and life satisfaction. Freed from constant mirroring, identity becomes solid, real. No longer editing life for digestible consumption. They live it fully, messy, unfiltered, and complex. Perhaps that is true rebellion. maintaining wholeness in a world that rewards fragmentation. Silence online doesn't always equal serenity. Often, it masks exhaustion. Social media was once a place of connection, now often a source of subtle fatigue. Witnessing everyone else's highlights while piecing together your own behind the scenes fosters comparison, self-doubt. Many step away, not from bitterness, but self-preservation. They realise they owe no performance, no explanation, no proof of happiness. Visibility has been confused with value. To matter, we assume we must be seen. Yet real meaning needs no audience. The most transformative moments occur unobserved. No cameras, no captions, no audience, just you. Those who don't post understand. Privacy is not loneliness, it is intimacy with oneself. Silence allows you to hear your own voice again, reconnect with lost parts, unspoken fears, inner compass, profoundly spiritual, a homecoming. Not always peaceful, doubt arises. Does silence make me invisible? Am I falling behind? Gradually, worth becomes independent of observers. Confidence emerges quietly. Calm assurance offline, not declarations online. Some ask, if it wasn't posted, did it happen? Often, the moments that shape you never appear in feeds. Growth, heartbreak, private victories, quiet kindness, they live in memory, not media. And perhaps that is enough. Authentic self-expression is congruence, alignment between inner and outer self. Social media distorts this, creating a curated self. Choosing not to post preserves congruence, the fragile truth of inner life. There is no need for validation to feel reality. Life is lived fully, quietly. Those who live quietly often experience it most intensely. They notice subtleties others miss. Light on a wall, pause before words, distant laughter. Presence becomes currency, sometimes misunderstood, labelled detached or cold. Their silence is depth, it is calm. Confidence arises from being understood by a few, not everyone. They understand that not all truths are public. Some experiences must remain untouched by algorithms and trends. Public sharing transforms the moment. It ceases to belong purely to you. Some moments are sacred. Next time you encounter someone who never posts, do not assume they hide. Perhaps they are just living. Perhaps they have found peace in quiet corners, unlit by screens. Perhaps they remember what most forget. Unseen does not mean alone. Quiet does not mean empty. True expression is often silence. Ultimately, we are not performances. We are people, and those who do not post remind us of that. Every quiet, unfiltered, beautifully invisible moment.